3 months ago, I had everything. A husband who adored me, 2 kids who needed me, a life that made sense. Today, I'm sitting in a half-empty apartment, my daughter won't look at me, and my son cries for his father every night, and it's all because of one decision. One impossible choice between 2 men who both loved me. One choice that destroyed everything. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old, and I need to tell you this story. Not because I'm proud of what I did, but because maybe, just maybe, it will stop someone else from making the same mistake. Because here's the truth, nobody tells you about choosing between 2 loves. Someone always loses, and sometimes that someone is you. Let me start at the beginning, because you need to understand how someone like me, someone who had it all, could throw it away for a feeling. I met Marcus when I was 28. I was working at a small marketing agency, barely making rent, eating ramen for dinner most nights. He was a client, owned a successful construction company, confident, stable, the kind of man who walks into a room and immediately makes you feel safe. Our first meeting was supposed to be professional, a consultation about rebranding his business. It lasted 4 hours. We talked about his company for maybe 30 minutes. The rest was just us, talking, laughing, connecting in a way I hadn't connected with anyone in years. He asked me to dinner the next week, then the week after that. Then we stopped pretending these were business meetings and admitted what they really were. Marcus was different from anyone I dated before. He was responsible, reliable. He showed up when he said he would. He called when he said he'd call. He didn't play games. There was no drama, no chaos, no wondering where I stood. After 2 years of dating terrible men who couldn't commit, Marcus felt like a miracle, like the universe finally decided I'd suffered enough and sent me someone good. We dated for 8 months before he proposed. Nothing fancy, just the 2 of us at the beach where we had our first real date. He got down on one knee and said, "I want to build a life with you. Not I love you, not you complete me. Just, I want to build a life with you." And that felt more romantic than any grand declaration. Because Marcus wasn't about words. He was about action, about showing up, about building something real. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony. Just close friends and family. It was perfect, simple, real. A year after we got married, I got pregnant with Emma. Marcus was over the moon. He read every parenting book, came to every doctor's appointment, rubbed my feet when they swelled, built the nursery himself. When Emma was born, I watched this strong, tough construction worker cry holding our tiny daughter. And I thought, this is it. This is what love is supposed to look like. Not fireworks and passion, but steady, safe, real. 2 years later, we had Noah, our little boy, and our family felt complete. Marcus worked hard to provide for us. I went back to work part-time. We had date nights once a week. We were the couple everyone said they wanted to be. But here's what I never told anyone. Not my friends, not my therapist, not even myself for a long time. I was content, I was grateful, I was comfortable. But I wasn't on fire. I wasn't consumed. I wasn't that girl who stayed up all night talking to someone because she couldn't bear to hang up. And I told myself that was okay. That was growth. That was maturity. Real love isn't supposed to feel like drowning. It's supposed to feel like floating. I believed that. I really did. Until I saw him again. Jake. My first love. My first everything, actually. We met when I was 19, freshman year of college. He was in my English literature class, sat 2 rows behind me. I knew he was there before I ever turned around. I could feel him watching me. After class one day, he caught up with me. "You dropped this. It was my pen. I hadn't dropped it." We both knew I hadn't dropped it, but it didn't matter because that's how we started. What Jake and I had was nothing like what I had with Marcus. It was chaos. It was intensity. It was staying up until 4 a.m. talking about everything and nothing. It was driving 2 hours just to see each other for 30 minutes. It was the kind of love that consumes you completely. We dated for 3 years. 3 years of the highest highs and the lowest lows. We broke up and got back together so many times, I lost count. We were toxic and beautiful and completely wrong for each other. Jake was an artist, a painter, brilliant but unstable. He had these dark moods where he'd disappear for days, times when he'd push me away because he said he was too broken for someone like me, times when he'd show up at my door at 2 a.m. with wild eyes saying he couldn't breathe without me. I loved him so much it scared me. The kind of love that makes you lose yourself. The kind of love that everyone warns you about, but you think you're different, you're special, you can handle it. We talked about getting married, about moving to the city together after graduation, about the life we'd build. He even started designing a ring, drew it in his sketchbook, showed me late one night. "Someday," he said, "when I'm not so messed up, when I deserve you." But someday never came, because 2 weeks before graduation, Jake broke up with me, for good this time. He said he was moving to New York, that he needed to focus on his art, that he loved me too much to keep dragging me down with him, that I deserved someone stable, someone whole, someone who wasn't him. I begged him to stay. I told him we could make it work, that I didn't care about stable, that I chose him, broken pieces and all. But he left anyway, got on a bus to New York and never looked back. No phone calls, no emails, nothing. He just vanished from my life like he'd never existed. I was devastated, spent months in bed, barely graduated, lost 15 pounds. My friends staged an intervention. My mom threatened to make me move back home. It took me almost 2 years to feel human again. That's when I met Marcus. And Marcus was everything Jake wasn't. Present, stable, there. He put me back together piece by piece. He made me believe in love again. Safe love, healthy love. And I thought I was over Jake. I really did. I thought that chapter of my life was closed, that I'd moved on, grown up, chosen the right kind of love. I was wrong. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was at the grocery store with Emma and Noah. Just a normal day. Emma was helping me pick out apples. Noah was trying to climb out of the cart. Just regular mom life. I turned the corner into the cereal aisle and there he was. Jake. Standing there like the past 10 years had never happened. Staring at a box of Cheerios like it held the secrets of the universe. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating. My brain couldn't process that he was actually there. In my grocery store, in my town, in my life again. He looked different, older, obviously. His hair was longer. He had a beard now. But it was definitely him. I would know those eyes anywhere. Those hands that used to hold my face when he kissed me. That mouth that used to say my name like a prayer. I should have turned around, should have grabbed my kids and gone to a different aisle, should have pretended I didn't see him, but I didn't. Instead, I stood there frozen while Emma tugged on my sleeve asking if we could get the cereal with marshmallows. That's when he turned and saw me. And the look on his face, God, the look on his face, like he'd seen a ghost. Like I'd punched him in the chest, like the world had stopped spinning. Sarah? His voice was exactly the same. A little deeper, maybe, but still him. Still the voice that used to whisper in my ear at 3 a.m., telling me I was his entire world. "Jake," I managed to say. My voice came out barely above a whisper. Emma stopped tugging, looked between me and this strange man. "Mommy, who's that?" That snapped me back to reality, to the fact that I was standing in a grocery store with my 2 children, that I was married, that this was my real life now. "Just an old friend, sweetie," I said, not taking my eyes off Jake. "Old friend," he repeated, something unreadable in his expression. Yeah, old friends. We stood there in awkward silence, 10 years of history hanging between us, 10 years of what-ifs and might-have-beens. "You look good," he finally said. "Really good." "Thanks. You too. What are you doing here? I thought you were in New York." "I was. I moved back about a month ago. My mom got sick. I came back to help take care of her. I'm sorry. Is she okay? Getting better? And it gave me an excuse to come home. I always wondered what happened to you. I got married, had kids, normal life stuff." He looked at Emma and Noah, really looked at them, and I saw something cross his face. Pain, maybe, regret, loss. "They're beautiful," he said quietly. "You always said you wanted 2 kids." The fact that he remembered that small detail from a conversation we'd had a decade ago made my chest tight. Marcus couldn't remember our anniversary half the time, but Jake remembered I wanted 2 kids. "What about you?" I forced myself to ask. "Married? Kids? No. Never found the right person, I guess." He looked at me when he said it, and I knew what he meant. "I've been painting, though, making a living at it finally. Teaching art classes, it's good, it's quiet, but it's good. That's great, Jake. I'm really happy for you." Another silence, this one heavier. "It was really good to see you, Sarah," he said. "Really good." "You too," I lied, because it wasn't good. It was devastating. It was like reopening a wound I thought had healed. He started to walk away, got maybe 3 steps, then turned back. "Hey, would you maybe want to get coffee sometime? Catch up properly? As old friends?" I should have said no, should have made up an excuse, should have protected the life I'd built. Instead, I heard myself say, "Sure, that would be nice." We exchanged numbers. He texted me that same night. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., the coffee shop on Main Street. I told Marcus I had a work meeting. First lie. It came easier than it should have. I showed up at the coffee shop 15 minutes early, nervous like a teenager. I'd changed my outfit 3 times, put on makeup, wore perfume, all the things I stopped doing for Marcus years ago. Jake was already there when I arrived. He stood up when he saw me, pulled out my chair. Small gesture, but it made my heart race. We talked for 3 hours. About everything. About his life in New York, about his art, about his mom's illness, about my kids, about my work, about everything except Marcos, except what we used to be, except the elephant in the room. But it was there, the chemistry, the connection, the way we could talk for hours and it felt like minutes. The way he looked at me like I was the only person in the world. When we finally left, he walked me to my car. "Sarah," he said, his hand on my car door, "I need to tell you something." "Jake, don't. I have to. Because if I don't say it now, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. That day I left for New York, biggest mistake I ever made. I thought I was doing the right thing, letting you go, letting you find someone who could give you the life you deserved. but I never stopped thinking about you. Not for a single day in 10 years. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All I could do was stand there while he said everything I'd needed to hear 10 years ago. I'm not asking you to leave your husband, he continued. I'm not asking you to blow up your life. I just needed you to know that you were it for me, that you'll always be it for me, even if we never see each other again. He got in his car and drove away, left me standing there in the parking lot, my whole world tilting on its axis. I should have gone home, should have told Marcus what happened, should have blocked Jake's number and never looked back, but I didn't. Instead, I texted him when I got home. We need to talk, not at a coffee shop. He replied immediately. My place? Address attached. That's how it started. One coffee became lunch, lunch became dinner. Dinner became me lying to my husband about where I was, who I was with, what I was doing. We didn't sleep together. Not at first. We just talked. For hours and hours. We'd sit in his apartment, this small place above a gallery where he taught classes, and we'd talk like no time had passed. Like we were still 22 and the world was full of possibilities. But the attraction was there, simmering under every conversation, every accidental touch, every look that lasted too long. It happened 3 weeks after that first coffee. I was at his place. He was showing me his recent paintings. One was of a woman. From behind, looking out a window, something about the curve of her shoulders felt familiar. Is that me? I asked. He didn't answer for a long moment. Then, yes. I've been painting you for 10 years, Sarah. Different versions, different lives, but always you. He was standing behind me. I could feel his breath on my neck. And I knew if I turned around, if I looked at him, everything would change. I turned around. The kiss was inevitable, like gravity, like coming home and falling off a cliff at the same time. It was every kiss we'd ever had and completely new. It was 10 years of longing and regret and what if. We didn't sleep together that night. We just kissed for hours, like teenagers, like we were making up for lost time. When I finally left at midnight, my lips were swollen and my heart was in pieces. I cried the whole drive home, not because I regretted it, but because I didn't, and that terrified me. Marcus was asleep when I got home. I stood in the doorway of our bedroom watching him. This good man, this man who'd never hurt me, who'd put me back together when I was broken, who'd given me a family and a life and everything I thought I wanted, and all I could think about was Jake's lips on mine. The affair went on for 2 months. 2 months of lying, of sneaking around, of living 2 completely separate lives, wife and mother during the day, someone completely different at night. Jake never pushed me to leave Marcus, never gave me ultimatums. He just loved me, completely, desperately, the way he'd always loved me. But it was destroying me. The guilt, the lies, the constant fear of getting caught. I was snapping at the kids, distant with Marcus, losing weight, not sleeping. Marcus noticed, of course he did. You okay, babe? You seem stressed. Want to talk about it? And I'd lie. Say work was crazy, that I was fine, that everything was fine. Everything was not fine. Everything was falling apart. Then came the night that changed everything. Marcus surprised me with a romantic dinner, our anniversary. An anniversary I'd completely forgotten because I'd been so wrapped up in Jake. He'd made reservations at the restaurant where we had our first date, got his mom to watch the kids. He was wearing the shirt I loved, had flowers, had planned this whole evening, and I'd forgotten. Completely forgotten. We sat at dinner and he held my hand across the table. "Remember our first date?" he asked, smiling. "You spilled wine all over yourself. I thought you were the most beautiful disaster I'd ever seen." I forced a smile, tried to be present. But all I could think about was that I was supposed to see Jake later, that I'd told Marcus I had a work thing, that I was going to leave my husband sitting here on our anniversary to go be with another man. "What's wrong?" Marcus asked. "You're somewhere else." "Nothing, just tired." "Sarah," he squeezed my hand. "Talk to me, please. I feel like I'm losing you." And God, the way he looked at me, like I was his whole world, like he was terrified, like he knew. "I'm here," I lied. "I'm right here." But I wasn't. I hadn't been there in months. After dinner, Marcus dropped me off at what he thought was a work event. "I'll pick you up at 10, he said. "Love you." "Love you too," I said. Another lie. Because how could I love him and do this? I went to Jake's apartment. He knew something was wrong the moment he saw me. What happened? It's our anniversary, mine and Marcus's. He planned this whole romantic dinner and I forgot. I completely forgot because I was thinking about you. Jake pulled me into his arms. "Sarah," he said into my hair, "we need to talk about this, about what we're doing, where this is going. I know. You need to make a choice. I hate saying that. I hate giving you an ultimatum, but we can't keep doing this. It's killing both of us." He was right. I knew he was right. But how do you choose between two people you love? How do you choose between the man who saved you and the man who sees your soul? That night, I told Jake I needed time. I needed to figure out what I was going to do. He said he'd wait, that he'd wait forever if he had to. I went home that night planning to end it, to choose my family, to do the right thing. Marcus picked me up right at 10 like he said he would. "How was your work thing?" he asked. "Fine," I said, "just the usual." We drove home in silence, put away the babysitter, got ready for bed, just another normal night in our normal life. Except nothing was normal anymore. I lay in bed next to Marcus that night, listening to him breathe, thinking about Jake, about the choice I had to make, about how either way someone was going to get hurt. I just didn't know yet that person was going to be me. I lasted 3 days trying to end it with Jake, 3 days of not texting him, of ignoring his calls, of trying to pretend like I could just go back to my old life and everything would be fine. It didn't work. On the 4th day, he showed up at my house. Marcus was at work. The kids were at school and daycare. I was alone. I opened the door and there he was, looking desperate and wrecked. "We need to talk," he said. I shouldn't have let him in. But I did. We stood in my kitchen, the kitchen where I made breakfast for my kids every morning, and he said, "Please don't shut me out. If you want to end this, fine, but don't just disappear. Don't do to me what I did to you 10 years ago." He was right. He deserved better than that. We both did. So I made coffee and we sat at my kitchen table and I tried to explain something I didn't understand myself. "I love my husband," I told him. "I love my kids. I love the life we've built. It's safe. It's stable. It's everything I thought I wanted. But when I'm with you, I feel alive in a way I haven't felt in years, like I'm actually me again. Not just someone's wife or someone's mom, just me, Sarah, the girl who used to stay up all night talking about art and philosophy and dreams." "Then leave him," Jake said. "I know it's scary. I know it's hard. But Sarah, life is too short to live it half asleep. Come be alive with me. It's not that simple. I have kids, Jake. Two little humans who need stability, who need their family intact. I can't just blow up their lives because I have feelings. What about your feelings? When do you get to matter? That question hit me hard because he was right. When did I get to matter? I'd spent 4 years putting everyone else first, being the perfect wife, the perfect mom, never complaining, never asking for what I needed, just existing in this role I'd created. But was that enough reason to destroy everything? To break Emma's and Noah's hearts? To crush Marcus, who'd done nothing wrong except not be Jake? I don't know what to do, I whispered. I genuinely don't know. Jake reached across the table and took my hand. Then figure it out, but figure it out soon, because this limbo is destroying both of us. He left after that, and I sat alone in my kitchen, trying to make sense of my life. That night, Marcus came home early. "Surprise," he said, holding up takeout bags. "I got us dinner from that Thai place you love. Mom's keeping the kids overnight. Thought we could use a night just us." My heart sank because I knew this was his attempt to fix whatever was broken, to reconnect, to save us. We ate dinner and talked about surface things, work, the kids, the weird noise the refrigerator was making, all the boring normal things married couples talk about. After dinner, he took my hand. "Come here," he said, leading me to the couch. "We need to talk." My stomach dropped. He knows. He figured it out. This is it. "I know something's been off with you for months," he started. "You've been distant, distracted, and I've been trying to give you space, thinking maybe you were just stressed. But it's more than that, isn't it?" I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. "Are you having an affair?" he asked quietly. His voice was so sad, so defeated, like he already knew the answer. I could have lied, should have lied, but sitting there, looking at this good man who deserved the truth, I couldn't do it anymore. "Yes," I whispered. "I'm so sorry." "Yes." Marcus pulled his hand away like I'd burned him. He stood up, paced, ran his hands through his hair. For a long time he didn't say anything. Just paced while I sat there, watching my life crumble. "Who?" he finally asked. "Jake, my ex from college. I ran into him at the grocery store a few months ago." "It just happened." "It just happened?" Marcus spun around. "Affairs don't just happen, Sarah. You made choices, multiple choices, every single time you saw him, every time you lied to me. Those were choices. You're right. I know you're right. Do you love him?" The question I'd been dreading, the question I didn't want to answer because the answer would hurt him even more. "Yes," I whispered. "I'm sorry, but yes." Marcus sat down heavily, like his legs couldn't hold him anymore. He put his head in his hands, and I sat there, watching this strong man break because of me. "How long?" he asked after a while. 2 months. 2 months. Jesus, Sarah. 2 months of lying to my face. 2 months of making a fool out of me. I never meant to hurt you." He laughed bitterly. "You never meant to hurt me? What did you think was going to happen? That I'd just be okay with this?" "No, I don't know. I wasn't thinking clearly." "Are you sleeping with him?" I hesitated too long, which was answer enough. Marcus stood up again, started pacing again. "I gave you everything," he said, his voice breaking. "I loved you. I built a life with you. I gave you a family. And you threw it away for some artist ex-boyfriend who abandoned you 10 years ago. It's not that simple. Then explain it to me. Make me understand how you could do this." I tried to find the words. tried to explain the unexplainable. With Jake, I feel something I've never felt with anyone else. It's like I'm on fire, like I'm fully alive. With you, it's comfortable, safe, but not passionate, not consuming. So I'm boring, Marcus said flatly. That's what you're saying. I'm the boring, safe husband, and he's the exciting artist. Is that it? You're not boring. You're wonderful. You're exactly what I thought I wanted, but not what you actually want. I don't know what I want anymore. Yes, you do, he said, looking at me with eyes full of pain. You want him. You've already chosen him. You're just too much of a coward to say it out loud. That stung. Because it was true. I had chosen Jake. I just didn't want to face the consequences. What about Emma and Noah? Marcus asked. What about them? They'll always be my priority. Will they? Because walking out on their father doesn't exactly scream priority, Sarah. I'm not walking out. I'm being honest. Finally. Honest, right. After 2 months of lies, now you want to be honest. We sat in heavy silence, everything that needed to be said hanging in the air between us. I want a divorce, Marcus finally said. I can't do this. I can't be with someone who loves someone else. I deserve better than that. I know you do. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight. Tomorrow we tell the kids. And then you can go be with your artist and live your passionate life. And I'll figure out how to explain to our children why their family is broken. Marcus, I started. Don't, just don't. I can't look at you right now. He went to the guest room and closed the door, and I sat alone on our couch in our house, realizing what I'd done, what I'd destroyed. I texted Jake. He knows. I told him everything. Jake called immediately. Are you okay? Where are you? Home. Marcus wants a divorce. Come stay with me. Pack a bag and come here. I can't. The kids will be home tomorrow. I need to be here when we tell them. Okay, but after you tell them, come to me. Let me take care of you. I couldn't sleep that night. Just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Emma's and Noah's faces when we told them. How was I going to explain this to a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old? How was I going to make them understand that Mommy and Daddy still loved them even though we couldn't love each other anymore? The next morning, Marcus picked up the kids from his mom's house. They came running in, excited as always. Daddy let us have ice cream for breakfast, Emma announced. Any other day I would have scolded Marcus for that. But today it didn't matter. Nothing mattered except what we were about to do to them. We sat them down in the living room. Emma knew immediately something was wrong. She's smart, perceptive. Noah just wanted to play with his trucks. Emma, Noah, Mommy, and Daddy need to talk to you about something important, Marcus started. His voice was steady, but I could see his hands shaking. What's wrong? Emma asked, her little face worried. Mommy and Daddy love you both very, very much, I said. That's never going to change. But sometimes grown-ups can't live together anymore. Are you getting divorced? Emma asked. My friend Sophia's parents got divorced. Yes, sweetie, Marcus said. We are. Emma's face crumpled. Is it because of me? Did I do something bad? No, baby, no. I pulled her into my lap. This has nothing to do with you. This is a grown-up problem. Where will I live? She asked, tears streaming down her face now. You'll live here with Daddy, Marcus said. But you'll see Mommy all the time. Mommy's getting her own place nearby. I don't want 2 houses, Emma sobbed. I want one house with Mommy and Daddy together. Noah started crying too, not really understanding what was happening, but picking up on the tension. I held both my children while they cried, while Marcus sat there looking destroyed, while our family fell apart. That night, after the kids cried themselves to sleep, I packed a bag. Marcus watched from the doorway. "So that's it?" he said. "You're really doing this?" "You're the one who said you wanted a divorce. Because I'm not going to beg you to stay, Sarah. I'm not going to compete with him. If you want to go, go." I picked up my bag, looked around our bedroom, the room where we'd made love, where we talked about our dreams, where I'd nursed both our babies, all the memories. "I'm sorry," I said, "for all of it. You deserved better." "Yeah," he said quietly. "I did." I went to Jake's apartment. He was waiting for me, pulled me into his arms the moment I walked in. "You're here," he said into my hair. "You're finally here." And for a moment, wrapped in his arms, I felt relief, like I'd made the right choice, like everything would be okay. That feeling lasted about 2 weeks. Living with Jake was everything I remembered and nothing like I expected. The passion was there, the connection, the late-night talks, the intensity, but also the chaos. Jake's moods, his need for space, his disappearing into his art for days at a time, all the things I'd forgotten about, all the things that had made us toxic the first time around, and the guilt. God, the guilt! Emma refused to talk to me when I called. Marcus was cold and distant when I picked up the kids for my weekends. Noah cried for his daddy constantly. I was breaking my children's hearts every single day. 3 weeks in, Jake and I had our first fight about something stupid. I don't even remember what. But it escalated, just like old times. Yelling, saying things we didn't mean, the toxicity creeping back in. After he left to cool off, I sat alone in his apartment and had a horrible realization. I'd destroyed my family for this, for someone I wasn't compatible with, for passion that couldn't survive reality, for a love that was beautiful but ultimately doomed. I'd chosen wrong. No, I'd chosen selfishly. I'd chosen my feelings over my family, my desire to feel alive over my children's stability, my need for passion over the good, steady man who actually loved me. When Jake came back, I told him, "This was a mistake. We're a mistake." "What?" "No, Sarah, we just had a fight. All couples fight. It's not just the fight, it's everything. The chaos, the intensity. We're not compatible, Jake. We never were. We were just too young and too in love to see it. Don't do this. Don't run just because things got hard. I'm not running. I'm being realistic. You and I were beautiful in theory, but in practice, we're a disaster. And I can't keep being a disaster. Not when I have kids depending on me. So that's it? You're just giving up. You destroyed your marriage for this and now you're just walking away? I destroyed my marriage for a fantasy, for the idea of you, not the reality. And that's on me. That's my mistake. But I can't keep making it. Where will you go? You can't go back to Marcus. Not after this. I know. But I can't stay here either. I moved into a small apartment by myself, filed for divorce, started seeing a therapist to figure out how I'd made such a catastrophic mess of my life. Marcus and I worked out custody. Emma slowly started talking to me again, though our relationship was damaged. Noah adjusted eventually. Kids are resilient, everyone kept telling me. They'll be fine. But would they? Would they really be fine knowing their mother had blown up their family because she couldn't control her feelings? 6 months later, I ran into Marcus at Emma's school play. He was there with someone, a woman. Pretty. She smiled at Emma with genuine warmth. Emma seemed to like her. My heart broke all over again, not because I wanted Marcus back, but because I'd thrown away something real, Something good, something I'd spent years building. And for what? A few months of passion? A fantasy I'd been chasing since I was 19? After the play, Marcus and I talked briefly. He introduced me to his girlfriend, Claire. She was kind, seemed good for him, good with Emma. "You look good," I told him. "Happy. I'm getting there," he said. Took a while. But yeah, getting there. I'm glad. You deserve to be happy. "We all do," he said. "That was the lesson, right? We all deserve to be happy. I just wish you'd figured that out before you destroyed everything to find it." He wasn't being cruel, just honest. And he was right. I live alone now, see my kids on weekends and some weeknights. Emma's in therapy dealing with the divorce. Noah asks sometimes why mommy doesn't live with them anymore. I've tried to rebuild my relationship with them, tried to show them that even though mommy made mistakes, mommy still loves them more than anything. I haven't dated anyone since Jake. Haven't wanted to. I'm focusing on being a better mother, a better person, figuring out who I am when I'm not defined by a relationship. Jake texted me last month, told me he was moving back to New York, asked if I regretted it. Us. Everything we tried. I told him no, because I don't regret loving him. I regret the choices I made, the lies I told, the family I destroyed. But I don't regret loving him. He was my first love. He'll always be special. But he wasn't worth what I gave up for him. And that's the hard truth. Nobody wants to hear about choosing between two loves. Sometimes neither choice is right. Sometimes you can love two people and still end up alone. Sometimes choosing between your husband and your first love doesn't just break your family, it breaks you too. So if you're watching this and you're in a similar situation, if you're torn between two people, if you're thinking about blowing up your life for a feeling, I'm begging you, stop, think, really think about what you're risking. Because passion fades, intensity burns out, but the damage you do to the people who love you, to the children who depend on you, to the life you've built, that lasts forever. I made my choice. I chose passion over stability, first love over real love, and I lost everything. My family, my husband, my children's trust, myself. Don't make my mistake. Because choosing between two loves doesn't just break your family. It breaks you in ways you'll never fully recover from. And I'm still trying to put myself back together.